What's up everybody, Animation Entertainment's AE Dude here, giving you the latest update on anime, manga, cosplay, streaming, relating technology, and gaming news on today's episode of Cyber News. Today is August 3rd, 2020, and we have a lot to cover, so let's get right into it. Don't forget to subscribe, hit that bell notification, and give this video a like if you like and enjoy what you see and would like to see more relating content. Let's get into it. When it comes to My Hero Academia, it's difficult to ignore how often the show is said in the same breath as Naruto. The two shonen titles may have very different stories and settings, but their hype is much the same. Now, the Reddit user Professor Jimny got their fandom buzzing when they posted a piece of art that combines Naruto with My Hero Academia. As you can see, this image depicts what Aizawa most likely would have gone through if he were Kakashi and Team 7 was headed up by Izuku's friends. This is not the first time the characters have been compared, and certainly will not be the last. Now onto some cosplay news. A talented cosplayer, Lyrica Cosplays, has shared an amazing take on Korra. As you can see, she nails Korra's casual pose in the show while dressed in her signature Water Tribe outfit. Not to mention the stunning contact lenses that make her eyes pop. Now if I was to rate this cosplay, I would have to say 8 out of 10 will have to do. You see the thing around her waist? The blue waist tie is missing on her cosplay. The piece that's inside within the blue part is also missing. So I'm gonna have to be a little strict and give her an 8 out of 10. You get a B. I'm sorry if I butcher your name. Cosplay Aigera Unamius did her take on the Fire Nation's princess, the one and only Azula. Now, not only has she faithfully recreated the princess royal attire, which includes her iconic hairpiece, she also has her facial expressions down perfectly with her forward brow and piercing stare. Hopefully she didn't impersonate Azula's characteristics as much as her looks.
Alright, Hair, it's time to face your doom.
What a shame.
Now, if I was gonna rate this cosplay, I'll have to rate it a 9 out of 10. Just because she's not the character. She's not Azula. But everything else looks pretty darn nice. Well done. Just don't get carried away and go crazy.
Ooh, what choice do I have?
Now on to some streaming news. Recently, the gaming world saw a paradigm shift when Mixer shut up shop. Following this, Twitch went on to make the headlines by permanently banning some prominent members of their community. While Ninja and Shroud get a hefty payday, DrDisrespect and Pokimane received the short end of the stick. As you may know, Twitch has been quite strict with its terms of services since the beginning of 2020. We saw how the popularity of a streamer didn't matter when it came to handing out permanent bans. The two-time. Fuck. With the rule that a player who is banned cannot appear in any way on any Twitch stream, things look bleak for Doc and his friends. In the words of Doc himself, it is out of my hands. Now on some news regarding Ninja, the world's #1 live streamer, who has a direct line to tens of millions of fans. He is supposedly negotiating a massive deal and is revealing his plans to conquer the rest of the entertainment world. In his own words, I'm looking at everything. Now on a more positive note, when it comes to Twitch, Twitch is partnering with the community, that's with an X instead of an O, which is a non-profit organization aimed at increasing minority youth participation in esports and gaming, to create an esports league for historically black colleges and universities. Now, more than 200 schools with varsity esports teams and 3 major collegiate esports leagues: ESPA, Collegiate Star League, and the National Association of Collegiate Esports. Now, Morehouse University is the only HBCU with an esports league. If you're interested in this, the first games of the HBCU's esports league hit the community Twitch channel on August 2nd. Now onto some tech news. Sony has started branding TVs that support 8K and 120 frames per second as PS5 ready. According to the marketing found on PlayStation's blog and Bravia's website, the new ZH8 and XH90 and 92 Bravia televisions will allow PlayStation 5 to run at 4K and 120 frames per second, as well as display images up to 8K resolution via a future firmware update. The Bravia televisions will also include an ultra-low latency game mode that allow users to turn on the television and console at the same time using a PS5 DualSense controller. Just hit that middle button, boop, boop. Now PlayStation and TV turns on simultaneously. Synchronization, low latency, at its perfected state. The Bravia remote will also provide battery timing and menu controls for the console. Recent television models from other manufacturers featuring HDMI 2.1 would also be able to run PS5 games at 8K 60 frames per second and 4K 120 frames per second. Now for those of you who don't know, HDMI 2.1 is a new format for your HDMI cables that lets them deliver much more information over compatible ports. This allows for 120 frames per second at full 4K resolution, which isn't possible on the same HDMI cables you're using on your current consoles.
Be that upgrade, be that powerful upgrade.
For you PC gamers, I got some news for you as well. The division responsible for Konami's famed pachinko machines is diving into a new market, PC gaming. Japanese outlet PC Watch reports that the company has 3 desktop models currently available for pre-order, with shipping due to commence September 2020. The Arespear product line is handled by Konami's Amusements, which also handles arcade systems and the company's esports interests. The models range from 184,000 yen, which is roughly about $1,750 in the US, to 338,800 yen, which is about 3,205 American dollars, depending on the specs of the one that you receive. Now the Arespear C300 is a low-cost model with an i5-9400F processor and a GTX 1650. It also comes with 8GB of DDR4 RAM and a 512GB solid-state drive. The Arespear C700 and C700 Plus have much better specs. They include a water-cooled i7-9700 and RTX 2070 Super and a 16GB DDR4 RAM package. These models plus the same 512GB M.2 PLCE SSD as the C300, but they also come with a 1TB hard drive. The difference between the C700 and the C700 Plus is mostly cosmetic. You're getting RGB lighting and a windowed case for the extra 22,000 yen, which is roughly around 210 American dollars. Keep in mind that all models have a discrete sound card in the form of the Asus Exonar AE. The pre-orders are open, but it's unclear whether they will ship outside of Japan. Regardless, the 2 Arespear models will start shipping in September of 2020. Now, in addition to protecting your privacy and blocking unwanted tracking online, one of the best reasons to use a VPN is to receive discounts you normally wouldn't. Let me explain. By using a VPN while shopping online, you can save thousands when purchasing airline tickets and other items by changing your IP address to one in a different country. This is because airlines use local pricing, so a ticket in one country may be much cheaper than a ticket for the same flight in a different country. Now, some gamers have abused this trick to purchase games from a different country, which has led the PC gaming giant Valve to update the account setting in its digital game store, Steam. If you don't know already, Steam also uses local pricing, so buying a PC game from Costa Rica, for instance, might cost $40 or $50, while purchasing the same game in the US will cost around $60. Going forward, Steam will now monitor which country is specified in a user's account setting and only show prices in that country's currency. Now, if a user moves to a new country or stays abroad for an extended period of time, they can only change their currency setting after completing one purchase using a payment method from their new location. In a support document on its website, Valve explains that using a VPN to disguise your location is against its terms of service and can lead to restrictions being placed on your Steam account. You guys messed up. Messing up big time.
Big time.
Now onto some gaming news. Bandai Namco's Katsuhiro Harada announced on July 31st, 2020, during the Japanese fighting game Publishers Roundtable, that Tekken 7 will be receiving a 4th season. This will include new moves for all characters and online player enhancements. Included in this update will be a Wi-Fi indicator when playing online. This means players will be able to identify the type of connections, Wi-Fi or hardwired, their opponents are using. Harada also explained that Bandai did some closed betas with rollback code, and the results have been good so far, saying that the update will provide a much better online experience. Bandai Namco is also planning to have online tournament weekends in September through December for both Tekken 7 and Soul Calibur 6. Sadly, Tekken 8 wasn't announced, but hopefully it will be announced soon after the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X is released. For you Call of Duty fans, I got some great news for you. Activision and Infinity Ward released a new trailer for Call of Duty, Modern Warfare, and Warzone, which introduces players to a new faction being introduced called Shadow Company and reveals the release date for its upcoming 5th season, August 5th, 2020. The Shadow Company comes from Modern Warfare 2 and will be available as a faction for both games. Although there aren't many confirmed details about Season 5, Infinity Ward has provided more information about these 3 new operators it will introduce to the games. The Shadow Company trio includes Rosalind Rose Helms, formerly Jackal's, Valken, and the leader Marcus Lurch Ortega. Rose joins Shadow Company after migrating from the Allegiance faction Jackals. Valken wears the full body armor for protection and battle and to hide his identity, leaving little to confirm about the operator. And lastly, Lurch hails from Plano, Texas, and is known for his enthusiasm and success in regards to eliminating the enemy. Now, there's a speculation that Season 5 will introduce plenty more changes, including the addition of the AN-94 and the APC-9, 2 guns currently not in the game, and the possibility that the Warzone map as we know it may be nuked. There was a recent tease from the Call of Duty Twitter handle that hinted the stadium, which has remained one of the only inaccessible buildings on the map, may finally be open. Many believe players will be able to finally access the area, loot the location, and battle inside of it. Now onto some news on the game Anthem. It's been a couple months since BioWare announced that it had started to look into what went wrong with Anthem and how it's going to fix it. Today, it's begun to share its result of that, giving us an idea of what to expect. Loot drops will be more frequent, all items are apparently better and more competitive, and all loot rarities have value. You can also sidestep RNG a bit through quests, specialized vendors, and unique loot tables. If you like a particular piece of gear, you can level it up so it remains effective and you won't find items rendered useless because they were missing inscriptions. You'll also be able to roll inscriptions. Loot is just part of the redesign, and BioWare says it's already made some improvements to gunplay and is currently exploring melee items and builds. There's no word on when the changes can be expected, but given the apparent scale of the redesign and the team having to work from home, it's going to take some time to finish. Here's a full list of what BioWare is working on in relation to loot. Now onto some Halo news. Sharing the news, Halo is for everyone. More details will be released later on Halo's Twitter. It's confirmed by 343 Industries that Halo Infinite's multiplayer will be free to play and will support 120 frames per second on the Xbox Series X. Halo Infinite will be released alongside the Xbox Series X in the holiday of 2020, but will also be available on PC and Xbox One. Did you know Ghost of Tsushima matches the weather to your playstyle? As you stop using the skills of the samurai and begin relying on those of the ghost, the in-game world will change to match your playstyle, transforming the gentle breezes that the enemy Mongols first encounter upon invading the island into a constant bombardment of terrifying winds, booming thunder, and flashes of lightning. Because it will be storming more often, areas will naturally be darker too, which further sells the idea of Jin, who's the main character, dishonorably engaging his opponents when they can't see him. Amazing. Such an amazing game. Now, provided by PlayStation, here's a quick list of the shared stats, assuming that everybody who's played the game has done so with the PlayStation 4 connected to the internet. The Last of Us Part 2 spoiler alert. If you thought The Last of Us Part 2 was grim now, it used to be way worse. In regard to Ellie's current relationship with Abby, and I quote, "That's not how things always were," end quote, as narrative lead Holly Gross described during a New Game Informer podcast.
"When I signed on, a lot of it was very similar," said Gross. "We did a lot of iterations on what the last act would look like, but the final beat was that Ellie would kill Abby. About halfway through production, we changed that and had Ellie let go at the last second to show that some little part of the old Ellie, the Ellie with humanity, the Ellie that is impacted by Joel, still exists within this character who has been so overtaken by her quest for revenge."
I bet you guys didn't know that. Well everybody, that's going to be it for today's episode of Cyber News with Animation Entertainment's AE Dude. If you enjoyed and appreciate what you heard and saw today, hit the subscribe button, like the video, give it a thumbs up, and hit that bell notification icon so that you're notified whenever there's a new video uploaded to the channel. Thanks for watching, and don't forget, all the praise and glory be to Jesus Christ. Amen.